Well, hey, what's going on, guys? It is Dave Beaver, Pastor Dave Beaver, to some of you, and welcome to another episode of Grappling with Life. Obviously, if you've never seen this show is all about exactly what it says, grappling with life. I love to talk with jiu-jitsu practitioners, champions, professors, and honestly, sometimes just everyday hobbyists that love jiu-jitsu. But here's what I know. Whether you're rolling on a mat, I know this for certain. Every single human being alive of all ages is wrestling or is grappling with life. We're all going through something. And so it's always cool to hear people's stories and help those stories encourage and inspire each other to keep grappling with life on a daily basis. Well, today I'm super excited. I have just a Midwest legend. He is an incredible black belt professor. He owns a great academy. He has a great reputation. And so thank you so much for Professor Deon Thompson, Ohio Braza Jiu-Jitsu, and the founder of the Buckeye State Championship, going to be coming up. We're going to talk about that. So welcome from your car. Welcome from your
Man,
car.
yeah, thank you, man. Thank you, Dave. It's always an honor, man. Thank you so much for the introduction. As they say, I'm not worthy, man. I'm just a regular guy out here that I just happen to start a little earlier than most people, but I appreciate you having me on.
I love it, man. I'm so always enjoy talking with you, man. Just enjoyed your friendships. Whether I see you at IBJJF competitions or just around the jiu-jitsu scene, man. You've always been encouraging. And I
Thank you.
think before we dive in here, man, because I really want to talk about what you got coming up. It's
Okay.
not new, but I think you're doing some new things, and it's getting bigger and better every year. But man, earlier today, when we were talking, I just happened to stumble across some social media, and man, I gotta make sure you're okay, man. I mean, as a man that I respect, a game that is deadly. uh you and Professor Dave Freetag, you guys are probably pretty close in height, right? But but man, I saw on the internet today, man. Today looks like you got a little roughed up, man. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Oh man, well, I mean, everybody saw what happened. I had to run out and get a mystery partner for it. I'm gonna reveal that a little bit later, but I was this guy from Detroit Urban Survival, man. It's been doing some things I've had some questions about. He goes out and recruits Craig Funk to come out. Craig Funk's a good black belt. I don't know if guys in Michigan are upset we won this grapple in the temple. I don't know what's going on, but I just simply went in to ask a question, and you guys saw what happened. I got assaulted, so
Did get
I have
assaulted.
a response for it.
Man, and it's a weird day, man. A rainy day in Ohio, and man, assault was on the table today, and I saw it, man. I'm surprised that you didn't press charges, but you're a G and a G, man. You're ready for it, and so I got
Thanks
to
for
sneak
thanks for
this.
asking about me. So many people have been inboxing him out. I'm okay. Little upset what happened, but don't worry about it. I'll be fine.
This might be
July
a
9th,
great.
Buckeye State.
This might be a great opportunity. I know. Professor Tom DeBlas has been calling them out as well. So man, he might need to swing through July 9th, bring some students. Hey, let's talk about July 9th, man. I'm
Sure.
super excited. I'm all signed up for it myself to compete in that
I
40
appreciate it.
plus bracket. But hey, let's talk about, man. You're doing something new for jiu-jitsu. I think a lot of times people, you kind of get worn out a little bit going and competing in the same,
Yeah,
tournament after tournament. A lot of times you see
yeah.
the same exact people. Um, Sometimes it's a great experience. Sometimes it's Talk about the Buckeye here coming up July 9th, and then another one I think you're doing in October. So let's just talk about the
Yes.
tournament.
So the Buckeye man has been around since 2007. Buckeye State Grappling Championships. We started with like 33 people.
Yeah.
The last couple of years we've had 400 plus people, and everybody has a good time. One of the things I pride myself on is being able to get people in and out of a tournament. I
Right.
know for myself, and as a coach, sometimes I have to stay from 8 in the morning. And some tournaments, man, I'm not out of there till 9, 8 o'clock at night, which I think is too long. So what my goal has always been is to say, okay, I want to have people done by no later than 5, 4:30, 5:30 tops with absolutes. And I'd
Yep.
like to also, guarantee 2 matches because I think local tournaments really just prepare you for the big tournaments. Dave, you've seen me. I'm out there. I do a lot of the
Yeah.
IBJJF stuff. Currently I'm the #1 Master 5 super heavyweight guy in the top 10 overall. And for me to be able to have some accomplishments, it took going to these local tournaments,
Yeah.
and a lot of people will say, well, the IBJJF is this. I do IBJJF rules.
Yeah.
I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I think that's one of the issues with jujitsu. There's so many different rule sets,
Sure.
and and everybody, all of them are good. You know what I mean? I'm not whatever floats your boat. But in my opinion, I just like the IBJJF rule set because I'm old school, so I always look at stuff. How does a street fight look? And the points are set up to actually help you know how to win an actual altercation, because people can say whatever they want to, but
Mhm.
we came through those doors because we wanted to learn how to defend ourselves, how to
Sure.
protect our loved ones, and things like that. So when people will say sub only is the way to go, my argument is always this: we're the only sport. And I was
Mhm.
having a talk with another buddy of mine, and the debate was, he says, man, well, sub only is the best. I'm like,
Mhm.
how come our sport is the only sport that it matters how you win?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tom Brady can have the football 2 minutes. The other
Yeah.
team, he knows the other team doesn't have timeouts. They're getting in the field goal range, okay, or up by one, takes a few knees,
Yeah.
clock runs out. He's considered a genius.
Yeah.
Our sport,
Yeah.
if you understand how to win, you're considered, oh, you only won this way, or how. The
Yeah.
bottom line, it's about results, okay? And I
That's right.
got this saying, my students will tell you, I'm big on substance over style.
Mm.
Meaning, a lot of times jujitsu guys worry about, oh man, did I hit this flying triangle? Okay, you might have hit it. It looks
Yeah.
great for a few seconds, but did you win the bracket?
You're right.
You know,
Yeah.
so my that's my opinion.
Yeah.
It's not a right way or wrong way, obviously. But the argument was, well, our sport is boring, because unless there's a submission is the goal. That's what we learn. But
Sure. Yeah.
sometimes, man, it doesn't happen. And guess what happens when you don't get the submission? The ref usually defers to the guy who had the dominant position. So
Absolutely.
ultimately, we're using points anyway.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. I love that too. You know, it's funny. I have those conversations. I love jujitsu, man. I read it daily, watch it
Absolutely.
daily, train daily, and I have a lot of conversations. And it's funny because I say to people like the kind of new fad or new movement of jujitsu that seems to be so exciting and up and coming is no gi. You know, sub only, no gi, and it's all good. I love no gi. As a matter of fact, I train 50-50. I train every other day. I rotate back and forth. It's how our academy is set up. That's great. But to be honest, man, for the first probably 4 years of doing jujitsu, I trained very little no gi. I love the gi. I respect the gi. So I joke with guys that only want to do no gi, and I say, hey, I just don't understand why you want to do half a jujitsu. Like, man, and it's that pushback. But
Can I tell you
it's
something?
yeah, I'm
The
all
ear-
ears.
Dave, the early Buckeyes and people who are listening who came to the earlier ones, it
Yeah,
used to be a gi and a no gi tournament. I was doing this 07, 08, 09.
yeah,
It was the same day. So when people start saying, I'm like, no gi is nothing new. Guys have always done no gi. Guys
yeah,
have always done heel hooks. But I do promote, hey, we're a gi school. I'm a traditional guy because I always feel like, and don't get me wrong, but one thing I notice, it seems like gi guys are more apt to say, okay, we'll come play in your backyard. We're more apt to come play no gi. And
sure. Oh, I think I lost you, man. Hey, a little technical difficulty. If you're watching, hang tight. I think that call might have clipped him. I'm sure he's coming right back. Here we go. Yeah, here he is.
Dave, you got me?
I got you. You're
Oh
back
God,
now.
sorry. I was making a point. No, but I was just saying, like, but they always want us to play in their yard. But if we say, okay, come put the gear. Oh no. I don't do the gi. Well, it makes no sense to me. I mean,
Yeah,
that's just, we see it time and time again. I like no gi. I'm excited. I think it's cool, but it's not
yeah.
new. I don't think it's new at all. But let's be honest, guys have developed or evolved some positions.
Mhm.
But in both, they've evolved positions in gi and no gi. So I think you can enjoy both, and you
Absolutely.
don't have to pick a side.
Yeah, I love it both, man. I just call it jujitsu, and I do love the gi, man. I go back to the just again those fundamentals, man. The gi, it, that's what. Well, honestly, I fell in love with it. I'd go to no gi, and it felt in the beginning it felt a lot like wrestling, and
Yeah. Mhm.
without having grips, and and then all of a sudden when you start to learn and you realize, oh, I can get the backside, 50-50, or I can go to saddle from here. Then all of a sudden, no gi started to being fun. As I started to learn maybe more positions and opportunities off of those, and shout out to Coach Brett Boggs, black belt. That's my guy, man, and he is a leg lock master. So I just shout out to him. But
Yeah, good.
um,
That's awesome, man. I think the leg locks are, like I said, it's like submissions. I like the submission too. A lot of people don't know this. I'm a no gi pan champ,
yeah, yeah,
but I don't. I think I seen you there. We were there. I
yeah,
mean,
yes, sir, yes,
but
sir,
the but you know what, man? I don't know. I guess it's good to generate interest because the argument was, well, people want to see the submission, and I said I can name a sport that I think is boring, where there's
yeah.
not a lot of scoring or anything, but it's the most popular sport in the world, and that's soccer. I can't stand it. But people will watch for hours and nothing
Yeah,
happens. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So I don't
yeah,
know, man. I think we're trying to do so much with trying to, man, we got to make it interesting for the public, for people that to want to watch. Man, let's be honest. Our sport, it's a niche sport. Either people
yeah.
like it or they don't.
Sure. So let's talk a little more in depth about the Buckeye. Man, it's coming up
Sure.
July, like I said, it's coming up July 9th. Tell us where it's going to be held at. And
Okay.
as a competitor, as a coach, what can people I love the fact get in, get it done, have a great experience. But what are some other things that when you say, man, when you come and experience this tournament, you're gonna love this about it,
Okay.
talk a
I
little bit more
have
about that atmosphere.
okay, it's at Lord's University, which is a super nice university. If you guys, people who came last year will tell you, is probably the nicest venue that you will compete. I'll find anywhere in the country that's as nice as Lord's for
Awesome.
competition. I'm not just saying this. Super nice campus. And we got acai, Dave. Come on, man. You gotta come for that. My girl Angela, man, she hooks the acai up. But I think too,
Nice.
there's good refereeing, like Brad Snyder refs.
Oh yeah.
I'll have like a lot of guys that come from Columbus. Let's see. Mila has ref before, and
Yeah.
she'll probably ref again. I like to get a bunch of different refs, and here's why, from different associations.
Sure.
Because I never want a person to say, oh, if my guys are going, well, that's because this guy's the ref. And
Absolutely.
I think a lot of tournament directors have figured that out. And the refs now are really good. That's the hardest thing, in my opinion, to get is good
Mhm.
qualified referees. So for me, and they're going to make mistakes. I mean, it's just human nature.
Sure.
Guys make mistakes. But one thing I've seen Brad, I've seen other people, when their people are on there, they've made the right calls. It's just,
Absolutely.
and it's a family reunion, Dave. I would, and you probably been seeing my post. I would challenge any tournament to, in the area that has more black belts competing.
That's awesome,
Right
man.
now, I think I'm up to 14 black belts.
Nice. That's
You name
awesome.
a local tournament that draws that type,
Yeah.
and I think that's a testament to the community.
Absolutely.
Obviously, they like the tournament because you're not going to get a lot of older black belts that want to come off and they enjoy the tournament so much they want to hop in there. And I think we have great medals.
Yeah.
Obviously, the medals are a draw. You got to have good medals,
Sure.
and it's just a good atmosphere, man. It's almost like I egging it to a family reunion, because I
Yeah.
do it at the same time every year, and people just people you haven't seen in a while. We have a great time, and people can bring their kids. I like to have a family atmosphere. That's what I'm promoting.
Yeah. It's
So the
great.
kids will go early,
Yep.
and then I do the upper belts. I do women and upper belts, and I do the white belts last. And I
Yeah.
will tell you why.
Yep.
Um, People always ask me that. They say, "Well, why do white belts have to go last?" I said, "Because guys with color in their belts, they've earned it. They've earned
Mm.
the right to get in, get done, and be able to coach their guys."
Yeah.
Okay,
Respect
because
that.
sometimes when the white belts go first, the
Yeah.
guys are sitting around. You got to coach. It's hard, man, to coach, and then you got to get ready for your match.
Absolutely.
So, and I can tell you a quick story. There was a white belt, and I don't let the white belt. I don't have white belt absolutes, just like the IBJJF. I have blue belt and up.
Yeah.
One guy said, "Hey man, I beat the blue belts all the time in my gym. Can I have an absolute?" I said, "What's the point of you getting blue belt privilege as a
Yeah.
white belt? What's your
Yeah.
incentive to get a blue belt then?"
Yeah, fair
What's
enough.
your, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
Agree.
I'm an old school guy like that, and
You know,
that's that. Good.
I love that though, Dan. It's funny, I was privileged enough to coach and fill in for Professor Freetag and Tim Davis. And but we have a really incredible brown belt. Her name is Amanda, and it's funny because last night I said, "Hey, do you want to lead the way? Do you want to show the technique, the curriculum?" And she's like, "No, you're cool." And I said, "Hey, listen, I'm always going to defer to the upper belt." Out of
Excellent.
respect, because
Yes.
she's been on and they've been on this path longer than I've been on this path, and so I know some people. Maybe it's a generational thing. I don't know. They look at like yo belts or this. I'm like, listen, someone's got a black belt. Now I will pause to this. Not everyone that wears a black belt's a good person. They might just have
Yeah.
be a worse bully. They're a black belt in jujitsu, but maybe they're not a black belt of
In
character.
life.
But
Yeah.
but I'm talking good people, man. When I see those upper belts, I do feel like it's my responsibility. We line up a certain way in our academies,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it's a respecting. You're not there yet. Honor those that have gone before you. So I love that. I really think that getting the upper belts in, letting them go first, does let them focus on coaching. Especially if these guys want to compete. But if you got 10, 12, 15, 30 students that you're
What
trying to coach, come on, man.
you can't listen, I
Yeah,
can't be everywhere.
that's
You
right.
know, so a lot of times, like, okay, the fact that you're teaching a class, that lets me know that Professor Dave, he respects you. So you think about it, Dave, you get there and you're like, oh man, let me get my match done. You know, Dave's over here coaching some guys. Oh, we got another guy on mat 4. He can't be it everywhere. So you
Right.
got to have guys that come through your program that you trust to coach.
Sure.
And that's the way it is anymore now, you
Yeah.
know. So there's so many competitors, which is a great thing. But me, I'm only one guy. So I
Yeah.
can't be at every mat. So I have to
Yeah.
trust my students.
Absolutely. That's awesome, man. I'm excited for it. I'm excited
You're
for
gonna
the
enjoy it, man.
experience.
You're gonna
Yeah, I
enjoy it.
can't wait.
Last year,
I told you I'd be there, man. So
yeah,
I'm down.
last year was the first year that I don't think I had any complaints. I got so
Yeah.
many positive messages. You usually get one or two about, just little things, just people who like to complain. But last year,
Oh
and
yeah.
then everybody was asking me, hey, are you going to have a second one? And I was
Yeah.
like, no. But people were asking me about no gi. So I said, I don't want to do a gi and a no gi on the same day. That's a very long day. And
Yeah.
what I have found through my experience, that once people do the gi, sometimes they'll be like, I'm too tired to do the no gi. So
Absolutely.
you don't have brackets that you've already made up. So
Yeah.
that's why in October 8th, we're gonna have the first Buckeye State no gi only. So
Nice.
it's not gonna, you don't have to worry about, waiting around and things like that. So we're gonna run it there.
Yeah. I want to just talk a little bit more. You made a comment about one of the most important or critical things to have is good referees. You know, I've been to a lot of tournaments, and man, sometimes that is the make or break of the day. If you have chronically bad calls or bad referees, maybe they're in over their head, don't
Yeah.
know the point system. Recently when we did our big Faith and Violence tour, the number one thing I went after was we did an ADCC rule set. I
Yeah.
said I want to have whatever it costs me, an ADCC certified, legitimate
Smart.
judge, And so, we brought in Carlos Diaz from Tampa, which was awesome. But what I found is the professors and the athletes that came and competed. That was one of the biggest things that was important to them. They knew that I wasn't using some guy from down the road that was going to favor, the local guy. Here was a guy coming in who works, these ADCC shows, out in Vegas. He'll be working the show,
Yeah. Yeah.
coming up in September. So there's respect built in for the pedigree of that judge or this referee. So I think
Well,
that's huge, man.
Dave, that means people respect you too, because people will not come to your event if they don't respect you, plain and
Mhm.
simple. And I think that's one of the things. If people know me throughout the years, I've always supported everybody's tournaments. I've supported
Sure.
seminars. I've been around. I've supported either with my students or either out there myself. I've refed
Yeah.
a lot of tournaments. So I think it's a way to kind of give back, for me anyway. So I think that's why it's so awesome to have the good refs. Now, what people have to understand too, sometimes with the table help, that's
Mhm.
tough because sometimes you'll have people that really don't understand jujitsu or white belts, and they'll yell at the table help. So every tournament, if you guys are watching it, do not yell at the table if the points are wrong. Please, you have to
Yeah.
talk to the referee because
Yeah.
the ref kind of controls it.
Yeah.
And people will be like, hey, the point's the point. And people are like, I can't do anything. I had some of my friends, I had my stepson, he understands how to do it now, but his first year, he was shook. He was like, everybody's yelling at me to change the score. I said, you listen to the ref. You don't
Yes.
listen to the coaches, okay? We're just over there talking.
That's right.
And so that's another good point too.
Yeah.
But come on, I tell people, hey, stay off the refs because it's a tough job, man. A lot of people,
It
if people
is.
don't believe me, you come out and ref. I pay really well, and you will
Yeah.
find that it's not easy what they do.
No, that's exactly right. I know, like refereeing. You're right, man. Sometimes it's the parent that doesn't really understand
Oh my
jujitsu or
God.
train, and they're
Yes.
on you. Like, why'd you get the points? I'm like, well, because that was a scramble. There's no 3-second pinning position, so
Right.
it is tough, man. But I'm
You ref before, you know what I'm talking about.
yeah,
It's not
yeah.
easy.
Oh, and it's really bad whenever I'll tell you, I won't name names, but I had a guy who, I mean, and this kid won by submission and was cruising on points, and he was so bent out of shape that I didn't give his student these 2 points, right? Or I'm sorry, 3 points for a pass. I'm like, it wasn't a pass. Like, it was more of a scramble. There was no established
Right,
position.
right,
I'm like,
right.
and he kept it up, man, for 3 matches beyond, kept interrupting my match. So I had to stop the match, go to the table, go over to the scores table and say, hey, dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you don't stop, and he's like, I'm a black belt. And I said, and I'm the referee here today. So if you keep it up, I'm gonna DQ your kid and he's out,
Just
right?
leave.
Just
Yeah, if you don't
I'm like,
listen, man, you won the match.
he
And you,
won. Yeah.
Dave, and this is what I found because I've had some issues with parents. Because what I'll do, and another thing at our tournament, when kids go, if we see a kid caught, we stop it immediately. I've
Absolutely.
I've gotten in trouble for that, but I've explained it this
No.
way.
Yeah.
Once a kid gets hurt,
Yeah.
they're done. They're not going to want to. That means you lost a
Yes.
student,
Yes.
you lost a competitor. So
Yeah.
I'll stop it and I'll say, you know what? I'll take the blame. Well, Johnny, he's double jointed. I don't know that.
I
All I
don't
know
know.
is he's
Yeah.
here and I don't want him to get hurt. So you
Yeah.
can blame me for that. We do that quite frequently.
Absolutely.
And I've never apologized for
Nope.
stopping the match because some kids will look at them, they don't want to tap. You know
Yes.
what I mean? So you
Yeah.
don't want them to get hurt. So that's the other big thing I'm big on, man, with the kids matches anyway.
Yeah, for sure. I respect that. Like, you see when that elbow starts to stretch out and the break
Hey,
in there, it's gonna
stop.
happen quick and yeah, stop the match. And I think parents, I know moms out there, especially the mamas out there, like, I bring my son home with a broken elbow. Mama's gonna be on me, right? So
Yeah, man. So those are the type of things, man. But like I said, this tournament has really been going well. And I want to thank
yeah,
everybody who has been supporting it, everybody who will support it. We're gonna do our best.
yeah,
We try to do our best. And then sometimes, Dave, what happens too as a ref, if you miss a call, it's okay. Say, I just missed that one, man. I'm
yeah,
I'm
man.
sorry, I missed it. I'm
Yeah,
paying attention. It happens, or people will get mad at refs' decisions.
yeah.
Hey, I tell my guys this. Hey, if it comes to the ref's decision and you lose, we can't be mad. Because I've been on some ref's decisions and I'm like, whoa, we won that? And other ones, I'm like, man, we should have won. But hey,
Yeah.
all the time, I say it happens.
Yep.
We leave it to the refs, it happens.
On to the next one. Hey, let's talk a little bit about the academy, man. So let's talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
at the Ohio Braza. You just recently moved into a new location. So let's
Yes.
talk. The tournament's coming. Hey, listen, if you're out there and you love jiu-jitsu and you want to compete and you're looking for something new, well, look no further. July 9th, man, get over and sign up, right? Sign
Buckeye
up.
State Grappling Championships. It's on Facebook. Google it.
Yeah.
It's an inexpensive tournament. It's probably the cheapest tournament.
Yeah.
But I don't like to say cheap because I think it's high
Oh, yeah.
quality. I'll say
Yeah.
inexpensive.
Well,
We got top refs, we got top competitors, all
yeah.
that.
You're giving back. You've created a price point that's giving back to the
Mhm.
jiu-jitsu community a great experience. And that's what I love about it. You're not sitting around just trying to turn a buck, make a buck. You're doing something for the sport, for the
Yeah,
Midwest, the East Coast. And I think that's we're growing the game, man. That's exciting.
thank you.
So
But yeah, the new academy, man, 3350 West Lasky. We got a grand opening June 11th. For those of you guys who like no gi, my nephew, as I call him, Tim Spriggs, is coming in to do a seminar. No gi, 10 to 12, only $60. If you don't want to spend the money, come at 12:30 and eat for free and bring your gi. We're gonna have an open mat. I just want to, come and enjoy each other. That's it. But
yeah,
Tim's an outstanding teacher, and I promise you guys would not regret it. He's gonna do a good job, But the grand opening, there's a lot of people that are going to attend there that's going to come in throughout the day. And it's once again, it's just kind of my way of inviting you guys into my home. And I want to feed you guys, and you guys can have some stuff to drink, whatever the case may be. I want you guys to come in. And it's not a super 500,000 square foot facility, but it's nice, it's different. Parking isn't the issue. That's why I left the other academy.
Yeah.
People started complaining about parking, man, on both sides. And that's one thing for those of you guys who are going to get an academy. Please check the parking situation first. It got crazy. People whose businesses were closed at the time we had classes were complaining about parking. So I said, you know what? This is a fight I can't win. And
Right.
it's unfair to
Yeah.
my parents, unfair to my students to always have to try to rush to get parking space. And we had
Sure.
quite a few. So I just moved the academy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, congratulations, not on the new
Thank you.
academy, but the continued success and growth of it, man. Um,
Thank
like I
you.
said, you're doing great things, man. I call you one of those kind of like just those pillars, man. Here in the Midwest, the East
Thank
Coast.
you.
I know
Appreciate
everyone
you.
says Midwest only, but like I believe there's a little different between the Midwest and the East Coast. So what you're doing and what you've done for both. And I want to take maybe we'll finish up our time here together
Sure.
talking a little bit about the Midwest, the East Coast of the jiu-jitsu scene. I know one thing that I've been really pushing and talking about, and have I feel like we've got some good traction in is it seemed like all the big shows, all the big promotions or whatever, the big names were always happening in California, Texas, and Las Vegas. But man, there is a ton. I mean, there is a ton of talent in the Midwest, the East Coast. So I know, as we talked, we're gonna make the big names because we're gonna put the big money and some big platforms and have them come here. But I really think what's gonna happen is some of the dogs on the Midwest, East Coast are gonna get that platform to shine. And all of
Get
a
a
sudden,
name for
when
themselves, make a name. Yeah.
yeah, like because it's not that they're on that level. They just haven't been invited to who's number one or fight to win. They haven't got that opportunity to be on a big stage where it's 10 grand and hey, five, six, seven of the top 10 in
Well,
the
they
world
do
show
now
up.
because you're doing it, man. So
Well,
you're getting the
we're doing
opportunity.
it, brother. Yeah, we're
So,
doing it.
so
We're doing
yeah.
it.
So yeah, there's so many good grapplers here, man. And
Yeah,
if you guys don't believe me, just go when Worlds, Pans, any IBJJF opens,
yeah,
just kind of look down the list, and you're gonna see people. You're gonna see people from Ohio Bronze. You're gonna see people from GF Team. You're gonna see people from Pedigo, Adamas,
yeah,
DJJ,
yeah.
Voyage Martial Arts. The list could go on, man. You're gonna see a lot of people that just from our little area, Triumph. Man, like there's so many good grapplers out here, man. I mean, SAS team, and I don't want to forget anybody,
Sure,
but I
sure.
know I see a lot of the same people on the circuit.
Yeah,
And what I realized when I really start getting back into the competition scene heavy, I'm like, you know what, man, we could go with anybody in the world. There's no such thing as I got to move out to California. I got to move to Brazil. Like back in the day to
yeah,
learn. We
sure.
could compete with anybody in the world and really account quite well for ourselves.
Yeah, that's awesome. You mentioned something there, and I've heard Professor Freitag mention this, and Tim mentioned this quite a bit. Talk about when you were early into jujitsu, starting in jujitsu. Nowadays, you have YouTube. You could watch YouTube for hours straight. You have BJJ fanatics. Talk about the culture of jujitsu and the ability to learn and the resources that might be available today. What was it like when you started, resource
When we
wise?
started, man, it was limited resources. Put it like this, man. My first tape set was a Mario Sperry tape set, which, in my opinion, is still an outstanding tape set. Some of my old heads know about that. But it was more or less you stayed with your school, and you guys didn't want to give out your secrets, and wasn't a ton of tournaments. Now there's so much cross training going on. There's so many
Yeah,
resources, and I like that. I like the fact
sure.
that that guys with different patches train, or people will come. Like I just did a seminar in Columbus. I had a guy come from another academy, just to, I think that's cool. Cause back in the day, it was sort of frowned upon, we
Mm,
kind of, yeah, it was like, hey, you stay with what, you stay with this person, or you are considered, I don't want to say considered a traitor. That's kind of strong, but
Yeah.
People looked at it kind of funny. And, like there was always these backyard basement training sessions. If you had a buddy at a different academy, or hey, we can't take a picture. You come to this seminar, like, look, don't put me in the picture. I don't want nobody to see it. But now,
Yeah.
man, it's so wide open. And if a person wants to learn things, they
Yeah.
can learn it on YouTube. But you still need a good professor. And I will tell everybody this why, because you need the details.
Agreed.
That's
Mhm.
what YouTube can't give you. It can't give you the little nuance of the position. It can't give you the details that actually make it work. And you could study because I study film a lot.
Sure. Yeah.
I study
Yeah.
fights more,
Yeah.
but I study a lot of film. Matter of fact, I just took a private with Tannen Dauper, man, and he
Yeah.
showed me something on a grip and a foot position that changed the game.
Yeah.
That was it. And I
Yeah.
was like, now it was a technique, but I was like, man, I thought he was doing it this way because I was breaking down some sweeps. So I like to
Yeah.
do a similar sweep, but he
Yeah.
showed me what he was actually doing, and that didn't show up on the film.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of resources to learn, but I still encourage guys, go get under that professor because he can really make a difference in the game.
Yeah, and I don't, not to overstep my boundaries here because like I'm very aware of where my skill set is at. I think my mindset and my my mind is ahead of my actual on the mat skill, if that makes sense. Like to see it, to understand it, to feel it, and to do it. That's and that's how I think it should be. Like my mind is there first, now my body is catching up. But I would say maybe my hunch would be in your early days, like especially in those white belt, blue belt days,
Yeah.
it's probably, I would say, I guess it's vitally important to be under a consistent, continuous instruction of a professor so that the foundation of who you are, the foundation of your knowledge of those concepts, positions,
Yes.
really can seed in. That would just be my hunch, but
No, no, it is,
what's your
Dave, because
thought?
I started, man. I got, when I look back, I was so blessed.
Hmm.
White through purple, I was with Salo and Shanji Hibero. Man, Shanji spent so
Yeah,
much time with me. I don't know, like, just really developing my closed guard. And to this day, it's still a guard. Like people all they're gonna fight me. Oh, watch the closed guard, watch the close. He developed it, and then I ended up, with Kimprito from purple all the way to black belt. Chris Blanky, I got to throw him in there too because Chris was
yeah,
one of the pioneers.
yeah,
Without Chris, there's no jujitsu in Toledo, flat out. And I'm not ashamed to say that. But man, I got with Kimprito, and he took my game to just levels, man. Like, wow, I started kind of winning on the world stage. But the fundamentals, you're right. I started off with guys who just understood so well, man. And people don't understand, man, these basic concepts. Put it like this. I'll use it this way. That's why little league coaches for whatever sport, people don't think it's important, but it's important because they're going to be that foundation
yeah,
that's going to carry you on. If you got bad coaching at a young age,
mm,
i.e., we could say white belt,
yeah,
man, some of those habits are difficult to break. I get guys that come from different places, and sometimes it's hard if they don't buy in. Sometimes it's very difficult to break certain habits, and
yeah,
that's like I said, I've been blessed, man. I always
mm,
competed. I didn't always win like everybody else. I've
yeah,
lost some, but early on, man, what you're doing nowadays, you're just kind of going through it. So you're
yeah,
getting the experience. I remember I taught you after I forgot what tournament it was. I told you
yeah.
to keep your head up.
Yes, sir.
You
I
because
remember.
I know what happened. You were winning on the
Yeah,
local scene. You were
yes,
doing
sir.
really well. You got out to the tournament. You said, "Man, I want the first round." But I said, "Hey, stop.
Yeah,
Keep
yes,
your head
sir.
up,
Yep,
because just keep going through it. This is all a part of it, man. And it
yep.
doesn't matter. It matters to you, but everybody thinks at the time, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Nobody cares but you.
That's
So
right.
you got to put the ego aside. No, it's the truth.
It's true. Yeah,
Either way, we love you up anyway. I'm sure Professor Freetag will vow. He didn't say, you know what, man, get out of my school. You lost. You know what he probably said?
yeah,
Okay, good. There's some things we could work on.
yeah.
There's some parts of your game that got exposed. Let's fix the problem.
Sure,
And that's what we do as professors. That's another reason why competition is important.
sure.
Because as a professor, if something is happening consistently to my students, if they're getting passed a certain way, or if they can't, then in my mind, I'm like, okay, there's a blind spot. I have to teach. I got to get
Yeah,
better at teaching.
yeah.
So most professors, we don't blame the students. We blame ourselves.
Yep.
And that's why I know me, man, I can win from here on out. It means nothing if my students
Mhm.
aren't good. I want my students to be great. I
Yeah.
want to see their smiles.
Man, that's awesome, man, and that shows through, man, and who you are, and it's funny because Professor Freetag, that same kind of thing. Dave, like Dave said, he's kind of done competing on the local scene because he wants to coach and give to his students, right? And man, he'll coach his head off. He'll be there from sun up till sundown, as you were
For
talking
sure.
earlier. And it's coaching the kids, coaching the adults, and and even like right now, most recently, the tournament the school just was in, the academy was just in. At the end of that, Professor Freetag, he's kind of like a pastor, right? All you instructors are kind of like pastoral, man. You have a flock of
Okay.
people, you're leading the way. Well, he came back to the gym and said, hey, from the kids all the way through the adults, here are 3 things that I've seen, and we're going to address them. And since then, the curriculum has been, we're going to address these things. So
See,
it's pretty awesome to hear that even come from Professor,
yeah,
Dave,
that's
but
how
also
we
from you.
think, man.
Yeah.
That's how we think. Like,
Mm.
and I get it because it's hard to be a competitor and build your school. I'm scaling it back. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I had some goals. I met some goals. I've done some things that I never thought I'd be able to do in the sport,
Yeah.
in terms of from a competition aspect as well as a teaching aspect. But now I got some young, hungry white belts. I got some brown belts, some people that really need a lot of my attention.
Sure.
So I have to kind of scale back. I'm still going to be out here. I'm going to
Yeah.
go in whenever I can, but not as much, because when you're a competitor, you have to be really selfish. People won't ever tell you that, but you have to be selfish, meaning
Yeah.
that you got to focus a lot on you. So it's hard to compete at that tournament. But then I'm worried about this white belt. This is her first tournament.
Yeah.
It's an IBJJF. I know she's nervous. I got to calm this person down. I got to make sure this person's okay. So it's very difficult to do it. I applaud
Yeah.
people that can do it. I do it, but it's not easy. So
Sure. Yeah, man. Hey, one last thing, and I know you get on to your evening here. Pretty excited. Again, if you're watching out there and you're looking to compete, get signed up. Get signed up. The Buckeye State Championship going to be right here in Ohio. Great
Lawrence
opportunity,
College.
man. Lord's College, affordable, and so
Hey,
get
come
out there
on out,
and
guys.
yeah,
Anybody,
do
and
it.
I always make time, because people will say, it's funny. I'll meet people. They say, "Well, I don't want to bother you." Or they'll
Mhm.
inbox me the next day. Hey, I saw you. I saw you talking. Hey, come out and say hi.
Yeah,
I appreciate the support. You guys have been supporting me for years.
yeah, it's
It's gonna
awesome.
be a really good time, and I'm gonna make some new friends, and you're gonna make some new friends too.
Yes,
And
sir.
Dave, you can vouch for this. I'm sure every tournament you've done, you've
Yeah.
probably walked away, win or lose, with a friend,
Oh
with a new
man,
Facebook friend, with a person that said, "Hey,
absolutely,
man," and it's awesome. Okay, and
absolutely.
look, shouts out to you, man. You keep doing what you're doing. You're bringing some money out here. I just say it. A
Yes,
lot of
sir.
guys were saying, "Man, there's no money in this sport." Well, this guy is putting
Mhm.
money up. You got the skills to do it.
Gonna
you
get it.
know, yeah, you can get it. And if you
Yeah,
don't, hey, challenge yourself.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
thing I encourage people about tournaments.
Mhm.
You want to go, because at the end of the day, you have to know that you can perform should something unfortunate happen on the streets. You have to know
Yeah,
how to deal with adrenaline. That's what I tell my students.
yeah.
You've won by getting out there. I know it's cliches, but the fact that
Sure.
you can perform. So imagine if you're walking from the grocery store, or
Yeah,
you're coming out of a shopping center, somebody tackles you. You're going to know, okay, this isn't foreign to me. I can
yeah.
at least do enough to get away.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it'd be really kind of sweet. It'd be really sweet if you like called it out, shoulder crunch, sweep. You tell them what you're doing while you're messing them up. But um, hey man, I am so glad to have you. Now we'll keep it a secret, but I'm really hoping that the timelines work out. I'm really hoping to add that third mic to the broadcast team late
I'm
October
already there.
Columbus.
I
I
already
mean,
told you.
it's gonna be great, man. I'm gonna have you and I know Sean Foster, and it's gonna be good, man. It'll be a nice
Hey,
trio on the
hey, I
mic.
got another guy, man. If you got an extra mic, my man for Wise, man. I'm telling you, if
I love
you
it,
need extra
Scotty.
mic, but yeah, for sure, man. I would definitely do that. It's something I enjoy doing.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
who knows? I might hop off. Hey, you saw what I did before. I might hop from behind the booth and throw my gi on and hop out there and see what happens. I
You
don't know.
might have to do it. I know Sean Foster. He just did that. He got his mat done first of the night, and then jumped on the mic and did a great job. And so, man, thank you so much for what you're doing, what you continue to do for jiu-jitsu. Spend some time talking today. I do really appreciate it, man. I got a lot of respect for you.
Hey,
Can't wait
thank
to
you.
see you coming up here in July and then moving forward. And
Man.
Maybe we get you some privates. Work on that ankle lock, that leg lock defense. I saw the man up there dust himself. He got that little ankle lock.
Yeah, man. It took two of them,
It
but
did
that's
take two.
okay though,
Yeah,
because I have a
mediocre
Dave,
arm bar, mediocre
Dave,
arm bar, and a
Dave.
whack ankle.
Wait till you see who let's just say I'm bringing in a goon, because that's never gonna
Okay.
happen again.
I can't wait, man. Worth the price of admission. Just be there and just see what goes down. It's a historic day in jiu-jitsu, July 9th. So, hey, my man, thank you so much. You have a great night.
Appreciate
We'll
you,
talk
brother.
soon.
All right,
Yes,
all
sir.
love here, man. Okay.
Yes, sir. All right, my
Talk
friend.
to
Talk
you
to you.
soon.
God
Yep.
bless. See you, man. Bye-bye. Hey, everyone that tuned in here, thanks for taking a little bit of your time tonight. Talk to my friend, Professor Deon Thompson. He's a great guy, man. He's just done a lot of good things for the sport. One of those, he is a true G and a G, man. And so, hey, get out and support him July 9th, Lord's University. We're going to be all competing there. I know Professor Dave Freitag, Grove City, that's on our board. He's been really encouraging people to get out and have good experiences. We do the local scene here. All the tournaments come to town. So it's going to be neat. Hope you will sign up. Hey, if you are between the, the ripe weight of 185 pounds and 197 pounds, you happen to be around 43 years old and you're a blue belt, I hope to see you in a gi. Hope we get a chance to compete against each other. Going to have a blast. Thank you so much for catching this episode of Grappling with Life. Let's go. If you are just a hobbyist and you don't really want to compete, respect to you. Anybody that's on the mats rolling every day, bettering themselves, I got a ton of respect for you, man. Keep rolling. Keep doing a great job. Keep growing this game. Keep growing the culture. And keep walking through those academy doors. That's how you get good, right? Get good by walking through the door. All right, man. God bless you guys. We'll talk to you real soon.